Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Paige here, once again with another Arrow Season 4 review, and this is Episode 3, titled Restoration. So from the title, you could sort of guess what was going to happen in this episode, but we'll talk about that at the end. So anyway, the episode starts off with essentially Oliver and Diggle dealing with the ghosts. Again, we usually open up with a ghost situation because they're what's, terrorizing the city at the moment. That's pretty interesting because Diggle's actually able to grab one of the teeth from one of these ghosts, which usually they hide like a little bit of cyanide in, which would kill them. So he's able to get that, and they're able to do some like biological testing on it. We'll then see Laurel and Thea actually arriving in Nanda Parbat, and it's obviously about helping Thea out a bit, but also wanting to revive Sarah. And initially they get met with a big no from Malcolm, but we'll talk about Nanda Parbat later in this video. We then can see Damien Darhk hiring a metahuman named Double Down, and his abilities, he's a metahuman, obviously his abilities is that he can essentially anything that's tattooed on him, he can make into weapons. In this case, it's playing cards. But he's obviously hired to try and kill the Green Arrow. Now, Diggle sort of has his own thing going on this episode, and it's once again to do with his brother and Hive and stuff like that. Now, in this case, he's trying to seek out this woman who was actually the woman that hired Deadshot to take out his brother, named Mina Fayyad. I think that was the name of Mina Fayyad, something like that. But it actually ends up bad with Diggle's plan because Mina Fayyad is actually killed by Damien Darhk when Double Down actually fails to kill Oliver Queen on his first attempt. So this essentially ruins Diggle's whole plan. Really now he has no connections to sort of figure out his brothers and why his brother was murdered. Now throughout this we see Oliver and Diggle attempting to get over their issues, and they have a similar theme in Arrow, as does Flash. They both have similar themes, those two shows, about trust, about trusting one another, trusting each other after certain things happen. Sure, Flash is a bit more minimal. Flash is it was really Barry trusting Jay Garrick and some other people, but really it's just between Diggle and Oliver in regards to this trust, and because of what Oliver did at the end of Season 3, so you can understand why Diggle has those trust issues. Now when we go back to Nanda Parbat, we actually see Malcolm trying to, attempting to settle Thea's Lazarus Pit issues by allowing her to kill his men, because he sees that her only way to get down from this psychopathic level she's on is to feed that bloodlust that she's feeling. And obviously Thea isn't a fan of this. She's like, you're just letting me kill these men for no reason. And then he says the person, if you really wanted to get rid of it, you'd have to kill the person that killed you, which in this case was Ra's al Ghul, but obviously he's already dead, hence because of what happened at the end of last season. So really, all she can really do is just feed that bloodlust by killing anyone really, but just at an appropriate level. Now straight after this, we actually see Malcolm agreeing to revive Sarah, sort of to help Thea out, because Thea's obviously upset that he's not letting Sarah be revived, so he's going to let Sarah be revived so Thea isn't as mental, I guess. Now we actually cut away from that and we end up with Felicity and Curtis, aka Mr. Terrific, whatever you want to call him, and they actually get attacked by Double Down because they have one of his cards, and because it's made of biological material, because of it's made from his actual skin, I guess you could say, he's able to track it down. So Double Down ends up knowing actually where the Green Arrow's base is, but Felicity is actually able to nick him with a bullet or something, so he ends up just going away. But this actually leads into Curtis sort of being a part of Team Arrow, not officially in it, but he'll probably be called upon for certain issues that Felicity might not know too much about. We finally get to see Sarah revived through the Lazarus Pit, and it went a bit quick. I thought she might have been sitting in there a bit, cooking, I guess you could say, for a bit longer, but she's only in there for maybe 20 seconds or something. But when she comes out, the first thing that she wants to do is attack Thea, because she knows that Thea was the one that killed her. She was the last person she saw, and she knows that she was the one that killed her. So obviously that will probably play out in the next couple of episodes, even if she sort of does get back her conscience, which she seems to have lost. We see her later, even Laurel goes up and she's going mental trying to attack Laurel. So I think Sarah's essentially turns into this just killer, this animal, I guess you could say, who has no conscience and who has no soul. And this is, I've said it in previous videos, I think this is why Constantine will be brought in, not for the revival, because the revival wasn't there. The Lazarus Pit was going to do all the reviving. It was more about her brain and her mind and her soul and her conscience in general. This is what Constantine will do. He'll connect to the afterlife and try and bring back all of this so she can actually be Sarah again. Now going back to Star City, we actually see Oliver and Diggle take down Double Down. There's some words on words, I guess you could say, and Oliver actually takes not a bullet, but a flying card, or a couple of flying cards. I think it was 2 or 3. but the equivalent of taking a bullet, I guess, just so Diggle didn't get hurt. So I think for Diggle, this is like a bit of a bridge. There's a bit of bridging the gap for that trust issue, and I think they'll start to get along much, much better than they did. And we actually see at the end of the episode, all three, Felicity, Oliver, and Diggle actually having a drink. So seems like they're pretty good friends now. And the last thing we see in this episode is actually Nyssa destroying the Lazarus Pit, because one thing her father told her is that if anyone ever misused the Lazarus Pit for something it really shouldn't have been used for, that she was to destroy. And I think all she does is really pour some form of solution in there that breaks like the chemicals in the Lazarus Pit and just turns it basically useless. So I think that's what she's used, and now the Lazarus Pit seems like it's useless. I can see some bullshit when like, oh no, we have this other chemical which makes it turn back to normal. Wouldn't surprise me, because I think they'll turn that back. But yeah, so overall I thought this episode was pretty good. Next episode should be pretty interesting. I'm not too sure what they're going to do there. Assuming we're more Sarah issues. And maybe she might come back. No, she'll probably stay in Nanda Parbat for now. But pretty interesting to see what happens there. I'm not too sure if next week's the Halloween episode or is it the week after. I'm not too sure what they're doing there. Hopefully it's next week. But yeah, looking forward to it. Overall, I'll give this episode about 3.7, 3.8 out of 5. I enjoyed it. And yeah. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give a like, leave what you thought in the episode in the comments below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.